Right then, we're back.
And so we're back from outer space.
Lovely to see so many people in the comments already. We've really missed our lives because we haven't been able to do them while we've been in Japan because it was just so busy and with the time difference and everything else. So lovely to see you all here. Good to see that you still want us to go live and still join in with the jollities. So thank you so much. As you can see, my glasses are still wonky. Nothing's improved there. I can't wait to get to the opticians and get them sorted. But anyway, let's start at the very beginning. It's a very good place to start.
Is this Paul and Carol's live the musical?
Do you like how we're colour coordinated tonight?
Oh.
Well, Paul, I've got an orange t-shirt out, so you can't wear orange when I've got pink on.
Bearing in mind, I got the orange shirt before she put pink on.
Anyway, so let's see who's here. So evening all. Looking forward to a much missed live. Yeah, love to see Nick and Tracy here. So thank you so much. And Nick's quite rightly put, if you've got a question for us, do put questions at the front, because when in a few minutes everything will start going a little bit mental. But hopefully, if more people join in and want to ask us questions, we could just pick it out from obviously all the comments then. So thanks for that, Nick. So Barbara's here, so it was lovely to see Barbara. Hi, everyone, for a very wet and cold Highcliffe. Hey, lovely to be back with Paul and Carole for our Thursday night live. It's been torrential, the weather. I mean, we had mixed weather in Japan, but since being back here, it's just from the time we got off the plane to now, it's just wet, isn't it?
It hasn't been mixed at all, has it? It's just been one thing.
It's just been wet.
You trying to make your head?
Well, I'm all skew-if, and it's really doing my head in. But there we are. I need some sellotape. I do have some sellotape under my toes. Anyway, Rose is here. Love to see Rose. Welcome home. Thank you so much. And Striker Maguire. Hi, PNC. So thank you so much. Nick saying welcome home. Looking forward to shenanigans Saturday night. Yes, we're meeting up with our patrons in Gloucester on Saturday. Well, with Nick and Tracy. So looking forward to that. So if you do want to have a bit more behind the scenes and see what we're up to and actually meet us in person, then do join our Patreon or our YouTube membership, because we've got a lovely community there too.
We have, and it only costs as little as £1 a week.
Exactly that. So Michael's here from Orange County, California. We always look forward to enjoy your live chat. Michael and Laurie, Foothill Ranch.
Ooh.
Oh, on a ranch.
Sounds nice, doesn't
it? It does sound lovely. Danny's here. Lovely to see you, wine throwing Danny. As you'll always be called that, Danny.
Poor old Danny. I forgave you. I forgave you months ago, Danny. But Carole, she's a proper grudge holder.
So sunny and 10 degrees in St. John's. That's warm for you, isn't it? Starting to get rid of the over 8 centimeters of snow. Yeah. Wow. Fair play. Definitely looking forward to the chat. And Andy and Carole are here too. So leaving all welcome back, Paul and Carole. Look forward to the chat and great to have you back on Thursday. It's really good to be back. Sounds a bit bizarre, doesn't it? We really miss doing our lives, haven't we? Because it's just so lovely to chat and it's always great fun. So it's good to be back too. So thank you so much. And Hawks Travels, Jim and Joy, sorry to not been here for a while. Glad you're having an amazing adventure. Well, it's all been over the shop, hasn't it? Because we've been doing it Sundays and at lunchtime, and then we haven't for the last couple of weeks, so no problem. Cruising Gaze, welcome back both. Thank you so much. And Kengo Cruising's here too. So let's go have a look and see what questions we've got. So Andy and Carole have got one there. So your whole holiday looked amazing, but also very, very busy, especially the land tour. Do you now need another holiday to get over this one?
Yes, we do.
The Riviera tour was absolutely excellent. It was called The Best of Japan, the tour of Japan, wasn't it? And it certainly showed us so much of Japan that we've come back from that trip thinking, wow, we've learned so much, haven't we, about Japan. And what's going on?
Well, I'm going to, because my glasses are all a bit wibbly wobbly as well.
Okay.
But I didn't wear these. So these should be just perfect on my face.
Oh, look at that. They are.
Lovely.
Anyway, so it covered, like, we started off in Tokyo, went to Hiroshima, Kyoto. Where else did we go? It was we went on the bullet train twice.
3 times.
Well, we had connections. So that's a bit of a cheat, isn't it? But we did go out 3
times.
We
went on 3 different bullet trains.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So so every day was very, very busy, but it was really, really good. But it was, I think, with the escorted tour, we found that with the one in Canada, wasn't it? That it's early mornings, it's up, you're out, you're off, and you're in a group, so it depends on the dynamics of the group. We had a great group. There was 44 in the group, and everyone got on well, didn't they? There was nobody that was continually late or causing any disruption within the group, which we've...
Well, apart from us, obviously.
Apart from us. We had some great guides. Bernie and all the Japanese guides were fabulous. But it is escorted tours, no doubt about it, are very, very busy, and you have to be prepared for that.
You do. And we did on the most in one day, we walked just over 9 miles.
We did. But you can opt in and out. These aren't compulsory. You can opt in and out.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to miss out on anything, because every tour that we looked at, we thought, oh my gosh, that'd be great to see that. So Claire's here. Even though it's so nice to be back for your Thursday Night Live, I've missed it. We missed you too. So thanks for joining as usual. So that's great. Let's have a look then. Nick's just asking, your trip was epic. Is there one thing that stands out that makes it memorable?
Not really.
No, there was so much. The first glimpse of Mount Fuji was breathtaking, wasn't it, Paulie?
It was breathtaking.
Yeah.
And like, people never cease to amaze me, because we were fortunate to be able to see Mount Fuji from Tokyo. Is really, really unusual. Sometimes you can't.
I forgot about not that first.
No. I know. Sometimes you can't see Mount Fuji from Mount Fuji. So to see it from Tokyo, we seen it the very first day, 2 days before the tour started. We saw it from the breakfast room, and because we stayed a couple of nights before the tour started, and when the tour started, we moved rooms, and our room then faced straight out on Mount Fuji. But that day, nothing. But the next day. We could see it again, and it's so rare. So that was 2 sightings in the space of 4 days. And I put a little short on about we weren't expecting this, and I had some numpty send me a message basically saying, oh, there's no way they would have given you that room without you paying extra. And I'm thinking, so you see Mount Fuji from Tokyo about 10 times a year. I don't believe that anybody could try and charge you extra for the room. I
think we was just so blessed to have a clear day, and the day that we were going to Mount Fuji and going on to Hakone, we had beautiful, beautiful weather.
But it was windy. And windy is
good,
key.
because
so
obviously it blows all the clouds away. But that was special. Japanese toilets. We got to talk about Japanese toilets, because they are just poorly, aren't they? They're just the best. In fact, Claire, bless her, just mentioned she's already sent us a link to a similar one that you can get through Amazon, because I mean, we've been talking a lot with our patrons and our YouTube members, just laughing about the toilets. But they are just amazing. I don't know if you ever they wash and they blow dry, and the heat seated, and if you are doing a little number 2 you don't want to be embarrassed,
the heat's seated,
the seat's heated, and if you are a little bit windy, you can press a button, or it comes on automatically, where you can have sort of bird song or water music. It's
or trombones. Oh no, that was just yours.
So and the toilets in Japan, wherever you go, whether you're in
nobody's asked about toilets, don't you?
Well, no, what your trip was epic. It's the one thing that stands out. Toilets.
So you're going for a 7-week trip where we saw.
Well, you were excited about the BG in Thailand, Paulie, and then you got very excited. You can't say that you were so excited in Japan. We saw Mount Fuji.
We went to Hiroshima. We met one of only about 7 living survivors of the Hiroshima bomb.
Yes, that was
We
memorable.
went to Angkor Wat in Cambodia.
Yes.
We saw countless temples and shrines. And Carole's standout is a toilet that blows some water up your hoop.
No, so there was lots of, but yes, you're quite right.
But in all fairness, that was a standout for me as well.
Oh dear. Right then. So Ken's asking, welcome on your Japanland tour. Was it full on all the time, or do you still have time to self-explore? We did have some time to self-explore, and we did have evenings free. So, but there wasn't a huge amount of time in the day free, unless you opted out of one of the excursions.
But nobody did.
But nobody did.
No, there was only one lady who opted out the one day because she was feeling under the weather. But other than that, it was a full house, 44 people every single day.
Yeah.
And sometimes you couldn't opt out because
it was a travel day.
It was a travel day. And what was great is, so instead of saying, right, well, we're on the coach now for 7 hours, which we were on the coach for 7 or 8 hours, we did like 3 stops, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we did 3 stops and a lunch break as well.
Yeah.
So
it's so well planned. The organisation on Riviera was just spot on. A good example would be our last day. We had to get from Kyoto back to Tokyo to an airport hotel, the Excel Hotel, which was great, wasn't it, at the airport? And to get there, we had to have 2 trains, a bullet train and a regular train. And I don't know if you've ever been to Tokyo train station, but it is huge and it is crazy and it is mad. And the trains are in Japan, like most things, are so efficient. They're always on time. Very rarely will they be not on time. The bullet train in 1 year loses less than a minute. It's crazy statistics when they tell you about it. And as soon as the train pulled in, there was a lady with a Riviera laminate,
so as you can see. Yeah.
You got off and then you just followed right next to the next train, on the next train, sorted all your tickets for you. I think the tour was just stress-free because it was all done for you. If Paul and I had been doing that on our own, we would have been like, oh my God, how do we do this? It was very complicated. I'm sure you'd find your way, you do, and that's for some people that's quite part of an adventure. But for us now, we're getting older, having that all organized and having as soon as we got on the next train and as soon as we got off, there was someone else, another person waiting. And it was just brilliant. The organization we just could not fault, and we had a great coach driver called Kamata-san, didn't we? Who was just such this lovely guy who didn't speak any English, but he would always greet us on and off, wouldn't he? And we felt very safe. The coach was comfortable. It was really difficult to fault anything about the organisation and the transport from place to place. But it was like a military.
So was there time to self-explore?
Sorry. Yes, there was Ken. Sorry, I do waffle on.
But that's my job to waffle on.
Okay.
You've now officially taken my job.
Well, I'm sorry.
You made me redundant.
I'm sure you'll find something to say.
No, I'm going to get a word in edgeways.
So was the time to explore on your own? In the day, not much unless you opted out. We did have 1 free day, one free afternoon. But the free day we had, some people went off and stayed at a Rukanon, a little Japanese tea house.
I've got no idea what she's trying to say.
House. But the evenings were your own, weren't they?
Yes.
Did you want anything to add about that?
No, nothing at all. You managed to drag that out for 14 hours, so we'll just leave it at that.
Rose asked, would you recommend a land tour to Japan or a cruise?
Well, a cruise.
We've not done a cruise.
We've not done a cruise, and the great thing about cruising, which is why we love it, it gives you a little tiny taster of whether you'd like to go back and do something. Well, now we've obviously done stuff in Japan. There's places we wouldn't go back to. There's places we would go back to. But to certainly see anywhere near the amount of stuff that we have seen, you would have to do a land tour because you would never be in port long enough to do the things we've done. And obviously the touristy places we went are so busy, and they were. It was like bonk, especially
Kyoto was crazy.
It was just mad busy all the time.
Yeah. Whereas
Hiroshima and Tokyo was nice.
Tokyo was mad in parts, the really touristy parts, but actually other places, in particular where we stayed at the Otani Tower Hotel, was a great area because you had a really nice downtown, which was not busy at all, and shops and pubs and restaurants. That was good. Hiroshima was a highlight, wasn't it? Hiroshima, we knew.
So you're going on a tangent again, mate.
Okay, sorry.
Land tour or cruise?
Land tour or cruise. I'm glad we did a land tour because we feel like we've really immersed ourselves in the Japanese culture. We learned so much, didn't we, Pauline?
We did.
Okay, we'll go on. So Reese is here. Nice to see you, Reese. Even all have missed the lives on Thursday. Back to normal, but for how long? Oh, for a good 5 or 6 weeks. Isn't it?
5 weeks, I think. Yeah.
Carole, are you allowing Pauline to install a BG, or will he have to do with a hose pipe in the back garden?
Well, she'll never allow me to install a BG because if she does, the house will be flooded, the ceiling will fall down, it'll all go horribly wrong. But it's certainly between that or a Japanese toilet seat, which Claire's very kindly gave us a link to, one or t'other might definitely be happening.
Exactly. So Jim and Dwayne are just saying, now you're home, you'll be watching Shogun without subtitles. Now you're fluent in Japanese.
Oh, we are definitely fluent. We can say domo arigato.
Yes.
But then I always put Mr. Roboto on the end, which Carole never knew why until I explained halfway through the holiday that it was a song by Styx.
Yes. So Amanda's here. Happy Easter from myself and Phil. They're getting ready for going on a cruise. Got a message earlier on Facebook to say that they're having an early night, so they're watching from bed. Ooh.
Well, that should put you to sleep.
Warren saying, are you glad to be home? Do you know, when we were getting ready to fly back from Tokyo, we looked at each other. I said, you know, Paul, I could do with a week in the beach. And he looked at me and said, yeah, wouldn't that be great? So we weren't ready to come home, but we're home. And you know, now we're home. It's lovely to be home, back in our little house and all the things that are familiar.
Yes.
Isn't it, Paulie? So, and catch up with our sleep. It's been the first night we slept really well, didn't we? We got back about 7 in the evening. By 8 o'clock, we were in bed and asleep, and we slept through to about 6. And then yesterday, I seemed to have hit a wall, didn't I?
Today.
Yeah, today. Yeah, what day is it?
It's
Thursday.
It's anyway, Thursday Night Live. What day is it?
But today I've hit a wall. In fact, about 5 o'clock, I said to Paul, oh my gosh. So I've been trying to edit the video. So I want to get it out this weekend, the first episode of our Amawaterways Mekong River Cruise. And I said, I can't keep my eyes open. He said, just go to bed. So I actually went to bed and put the alarm on for 6:25. Yeah. But we are glad to be home. And it's been lovely chatting to family, hasn't it? I mean, we've chatted to them. It's so easy with social media and with FaceTime and stuff to keep in touch with family when you're away. But it's nothing like seeing them in the flesh, is it, Paulie?
Most definitely.
So Mark's here. Mark Irvin, California on deck. He's waiting for a very, very special Paul and Carole purchase that he made that hopefully will be delivered today.
But you're not going to spoil it for anybody, are you? In case anybody was watching and they didn't know about this special
No,
surprise.
I'm not.
Nah.
Kevin's here. Yo, welcome home.
Just a bit of Japanese.
And a bit Japanese.
Yeah.
Didn't know you could do that, Kevin.
Yes, I can even tell you what that says.
Yo, welcome home.
Probably.
Tina's just saying, evening everyone. Hope I have missed our Thursday Night Live. So glad to be back. Yes, totally. We are too. Joe's here. Evening, Joe. Oh, how I've missed these lives. Oh, it's lovely to see you all here. It really is. It just warms our heart, doesn't it? So Bob and Ella's here. So lovely to see you. And Kevin says your bum itchy.
Yes, I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Oh, Keith from Derby's checking in. So lovely to see you. And Anne's just got home. So lovely to see you too, Anne. Time to switch off. Indeed. It's raining in Blackpool with Amanda. So good evening, everyone, from rainy Blackpool. Welcome home. I know. It's just depressing, isn't it? And Jerry's in the house too. Welcome home, Carole and Paul.
Jerry.
So Tina's saying BG jokes already. There's bound to be lots, isn't there? Philip is here. So lovely to see you here. Glad you're back. And Scott's saying hi from South Carolina. What's your weather like there? Have you got rain too, like it's all over the UK? And Catherine's just saying, welcome home. We've really enjoyed all the ventures. It's been fantastic. The 7 weeks, it just went so fast, didn't it?
It did.
I think what we planned with Dan, obviously, was mixing it up. And I think we had a perfect starting with our family holiday in Thailand, then doing the Mekong River Cruise, then that chill out time in Cambodia and Vietnam before doing the tour was perfect. So I definitely, if we were planning another trip like that again, I would definitely make sure there was all those elements in it. So if you are planning a trip, a long trip, make sure it's not too busy. It has busy elements, because otherwise it just becomes too much, doesn't it?
Get burnt out.
You do. So Andy and Christine, hello there. Nice to see you.
So there you go. Look, we're up to 7 o'clock on the messages now, and that's taken you 20 minutes.
Tony's asking about cherry blossom. We've seen a little bit. It's a little bit early in Japan for when we went, and we've seen a little bit I can't remember, we went to so many temples and shrines, but we did see about 5 trees. But it is, if you want to see the cherry blossom, then you need to be going out from now, really. But then with the cherry blossom becomes more crowds. And we were finding that even going through some of the gardens, which were absolutely stunning, being early, it was packed. It was really, really packed, wasn't it? So if you are going to be touring Japan, make sure you're prepared for the crowds, because everyone wants a piece of it. And I get it, because it's such a fantastic country. And Cheryl saying, pretty in pink, welcome home. Greetings from Mexico. Thank you so much. Sue said she's been loved following our adventures. We had so much. Thank you all that follow us on social media. We've had so many comments and messages on our Instagram, on our Facebook, on Twitter. So please, if you don't follow us there, then make sure you do. But it's been great having the banter has been going along. And obviously we've had we do a little bit more behind the scenes with the patrons who've been seeing a little bit different side of our adventure than that you see on our social media. We all said, welcome back to sunny England. You brought the rain. It's been 35 degrees while you're away.
Of course it has, yeah.
Oh, you wish.
Somebody put on Instagram or Facebook earlier, don't forget that on Sunday morning, the clocks go forward by an hour, meaning we'll lose an hour of rain.
Yes, exactly. It's been mad, hasn't it? Deb's saying, can't wait to hear about your trip. Hi from New Zealand. Well, thank you for joining. Hello to Renato. So thank you for being here. And also Jackie. So lovely to see you too. So Mandy's saying, welcome home. Would you do such a long stay away again now you've completed this marathon? Yeah, definitely.
Really enjoyed
it. I think as I said a minute or so ago, I think the key was to mix it up. If it had been doing all the similar sort of thing, then I think we would have... by the end of it, so that's just too much. But because we had the quiet elements, the beach, the tour, the river cruise, the city breaks in the middle, I think it just worked really, really well. So Trevor Solo saying, hi, Paul and Carole, back in Europe. We are. Gillian's asking, when you were in Japan, were you able to use your credit card okay, or did you need cash?
Oh my God, she's going to let me speak. I feel highly honoured. 22 minutes and she's letting me field a question. Credit cards, no problem at all. Debit cards, all that kind of thing. On a very, very rare occasion, there were places that took cash only. One of which was a fabulous bar we found in Hiroshima called Sam's Cafe 13. And we went in and we only had enough for one round of beer. One Bloody Mary Carole was drinking. This place is just bonkers. I'm going to put a little short on because I did a video in there, but just got so much going on. As soon as I get a chance, I'll put it on. But it's like an American diner, all this memorabilia, old school jukebox. I've never seen so much stuff in one bar, and all the staff in there were fabulous. Well, it's a cafe type thing, yeah. But so when we got our first round, we were counting our money on our table like we were paupers, and it was like, oh, please, sir, can I have some more? And the man behind the bar who owned the place ended up buying us. And when I say against our wishes, I'm not lying, because we wanted to go and get some money, and he bought us 3 rounds of drinks.
Mad.
And we only bought one. And he was just absolutely fabulous. He's an 80-year-old Japanese man, so he was living in Hiroshima when the bomb dropped. But he was obviously only a wee baby at the time, but obviously survived that. But it just really reinforces your faith in human nature. Don't you start puffing and panting. But other than a couple of places, but they will usually make it quite clear to you that it's cash only. But even some like market stalls and places like that, you go into food halls, it's everybody takes a card, apart from very, very few.
I think we've learned on our travels, you take cash, but you also take a couple of ways of payment. So you have your credit card, but you also have a few cards, because you never know when one might go wrong, or there might be any issues with it. So that's what we do, and it worked really, really well. Going back to the guy in Hiroshima, the Japanese people are just lovely. The most polite race I think we've ever encountered, aren't they?
Fabulous.
Absolutely lovely people. It was just we sat down actually on our the day before we flew home. I said we need to, because we learned so much about just the Japanese etiquette, what to do, what you can do and what you can't do. Like you can't walk and eat in the street. They've got some very bizarre rules that everyone just abide by.
I thought it'd be a good idea to put a little video together about the do's and don'ts of Japan. So
you thought that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So anyway, we've sat down, and once we've done obviously all our Amawaterways Mekong videos, I'm going to put that video out because I think it would be really useful just to, if you are planning to come to Japan, just so you understand the culture and you understand the etiquette. So anyway, let's see who you are. So Lucy, welcome home. Thank you so much. Tom and Dom are in the house. So lovely to see you guys. Tony said we can come to Edinburgh for the cherry blossom. It's fabulous here. Yeah. And Mandy says, yep, cheers from our bed, by the way. So let's see. So Mark is saying, Mark and Sheila here from Wrexham, just referring from a 10-week adventure to New Zealand and Australia, including cruise on Celebrity Edge. Fabulous, so cold in the UK. Wow, 10-week adventure. You beat us then, Mark and Sheila.
We're just lightweights in comparison.
That's on our next hit list, isn't it, New Zealand? And I'd love to get back to Australia too. New Zealand, Hawaii, they're my two right at the top of the list now, Paulie Morgan. So glad to hear you had a fab time. And the Edge class ships are fabulous. Did you have a infinity balcony though? Because we're not a fan of those at all. Let's see. So yes, life in the parks. Hey guys, it's Steve and Nicholas. So I both were at Gatwick before flying to do the Rail Explore tomorrow. Have a fabulous time.
Yes.
So really,
sure you will.
Yeah, I'm sure you will enjoy. So let's see. So Laura's here. So let's see Laura. And Angela and Adrian from Barnsley. Gillian's just Barnsley. Is that how you say it? Barnsley.
What was I going to say? That was actually quite a good effort for you, because normally you do something, you could sound like you're from anywhere.
Oh, we met some fabulous people on the tour. That's another good thing about going on a group tour. We met some fab people. So from up north too. Gillian's just saying what a fantastic adventure we had. We did. And Ali B saying welcome back. Back to reality, it is, but we're quite happy, aren't we? Because we're home for sort of 5 weeks, and then we're off on to a couple more adventures. So we will let you know in due course all about those. And Claire saying she really enjoyed our trip too, so thank you so much. Nick saying, why is Paul drinking Thatcher's Gold from a mug?
So I haven't got any.
We haven't been shopping yet.
We I walked to the petrol station down the road from our house and got some bread and eggs. We had some stuff in the freezer, if you listen to the concoction we had yesterday, and so I'm putting it off till tomorrow.
Yeah.
So there's no Thatcher's Gold. So just making.
There's certain things you crave after being away, isn't there? One of those for me is gravy. We didn't have much to do a roast dinner, but we managed to have these little spicy chicken breasts, a few chips and a few veg, and we managed to put some gravy on the veg, which was like, and we had that about 9 o'clock in the morning when it Paulie.
And I think it was earlier than that.
So Kimber's here as well. So hello, glad you're back. Can dish all about your fabulous adventures. So like I said, if you've got any questions for us, then do let us know, and we will do our best to answer them. So Joe's just asking, if you had to do the entire trip again, would you stick with the same order or would you switch things around? That's a good question, Joe. The one thing missing at the end was a chill out week, wasn't it? So perhaps in my head, I was thinking we did Thailand, river cruise, then we did Cambodia, then we did Vietnam, maybe Vietnam and Cambodia could have been put on the end. However, the flight from Southeast Asia to East Asia in Japan is 5 hours. So it's quite a long way, isn't it? Japan's a long way from sort of a beach resort as such, unless anyone knows different. So it would have been difficult and far more expensive to do it if we had added something on the end. So I think that would be anything. Do something busy, but have a chill
but
out
look
week
at something. There's the logistics,
And the weather, obviously, in Japan at this time of year, it's not a place where it's going to be warm.
No, it's pretty grotty.
Yeah. So Sweet Nature says, I'd love to see you guys. So many people here. So thank you so much for joining us. If you're enjoying our chat, make sure you give us a thumbs up as well, because that's always helpful. Toto, yes, Toto Neorest. That heated seat is so nice in the wintertime. That was the make of most of the toilets, wasn't it? In Japan, Paulie, Toto.
It was, yeah, because that's because every time I went in to go to the toilet, I looked down and I said, "It's gonna take a lot to take me with you." Because that's by a band called Toto, by the way.
Yes. So Sam's asking a very cheeky question. We don't mind cheeky questions. How much did the Riviera tour cost you? I'm looking to do a solo tour to Japan for my 30th. Very expensive. Sure, it's worth it, but I want to know if I'm being ripped off. Now, we were invited on the Japan tour with Riviera, Sam. So we didn't pay for that part of our trip, which we as bloggers, if you are invited on a trip or you don't pay for an element of a trip, you have to put ad on all your posts. So you'll see on all our social media, our posts start with ad. Every post should start with ad. There are a lot of bloggers out there that don't do that, sadly. They just put hashtag hosted or hashtag invited hidden in the hashtags. But what the rules are, the advertising, the ASA guidelines are that if you're gifted something, like we were invited on the Riviera tour, then you should put ad. So
should be taking pride of place on all your posts.
So people are clear that actually you were gifted this and you didn't fund it yourself. So that people that are aware of that should be totally transparent. And sadly, lots of bloggers don't do that, and that's really frustrating because they should do it. And if they're not, I don't get why they don't want to do that. Because why wouldn't they want to be honest with their audience? Because if they're not being honest about that, what else aren't they being honest about? Yeah. So something to just be thinking about. So whenever we are invited on something, we will always put ad right at the start of our posts so that you know that actually we didn't pay for it ourselves and we were invited. So, but we did pay up until that point where we changed rooms in Tokyo. Everything we paid for ourselves.
So we paid right up to all our flights, everything up until we flew into Japan, which we paid for ourselves.
Yeah.
We paid for the first 2 nights in the hotel.
Yeah.
And then the third night in the hotel was when we became part of the Riviera group.
Yeah.
And that's when they took over the costs.
And you'll see on our social media, we made that quite clear and explain that. From now on, you'll see ad. So yeah. So going back to the Riviera tour costs, escorted tours are expensive. We know because we obviously paid for our one last year in Canada. So it's up to you whether you feel that's worth it. I think from a Riviera point of view, their organization and the company, that we've been very impressed with them. So we would recommend them. It's whether you find that it's value for money or not. It's certainly, you pack a lot in, and I don't think you could have packed much more into this Japan tour than what we did.
And I will say, and I don't know if Kevin's Canadian Kevin's in the house, but I felt that all the standards of hotels that we stayed in with Riviera were a better standard of hotel than we stayed at on the Thai tour.
The hotels were fab.
Very luxurious. They were really, really good.
Yeah, really good. Apart from one hotel where the breakfast was just a bit of bedlam, but that was the only thing that we could fault. So Mark's just asking, how did you feel about going to Hiroshima? I think of doing cruise to Japan, but my wife, she will call images seen for the effects of the bomb. Now, Hiroshima is a fantastic city. In fact, we've come back saying that was our favourite place.
Yeah, it was definitely.
Now, obviously, you can't go. Well, we felt we couldn't go to Hiroshima without seeing the effects, obviously, of the atomic bomb and how the city has rebuilt itself. And that was very moving and very, very sad to see that horrific things what happened that day.
But don't feel that you're going to be walking around and there's going to be like derelict buildings and flattened buildings and stuff like that. There's one building that's quite close to the riverbank, which was sort of semi blown up, and the people of Hiroshima have been debating over the 80 coming up for 80 years now since it happened, and the general consensus is they want to keep it, and actually they're not trying to rebuild it, but they're just making sure they don't fall down. So they're putting like some structures in place and metal structures and sort of internal scaffolding.
It should never be forgotten.
And so they want to keep it there as a reminder. They've also got a wonderful peace park, it's called, which is lovely walking through there. So you won't get any reminders apart from some statues and stuff, which is all really nicely done. And there's a museum, If you don't want any reminders,
Yeah.
don't go to the museum, because that's just full
It's quite
of
harrowing.
photographs and things
Video.
that, videos and all sorts of stuff. And when we were there, we did the Peace Park. We went to the museum, and then after we went to the museum, we had like a private, which was just for Riviera only. So there was just the 40 odd of us, and we met a guy who, like I said earlier, he was one of the I don't know how many's left now. It was 7, but I think it's less than that now. And he was, I think he was about 10 or 9 or 10, and he was at school, and he's supposed to have been in one place in Hiroshima, and then there was a change of plan, and his class was then sent out of the city to do something, and the class that should have gone out of the city stayed at school, and basically everybody who was at the school didn't make it. And it was I think it was 140,000 people died.
It is a very moving place to go. But aside from that, Hiroshima, it's a great city, isn't it? It's got a really nice, gentle vibe to it. People are so friendly, like Paul explained about Sam. And, don't be surprised if you go to Japan and someone will come up and say, "Hi, where are you from?" And just
Which
be
we had a
very,
few times. And
welcome to Hiroshima. Thank you for visiting my country. Because the Japanese are very, very welcome, and they're very, very lovely people, aren't they? Right, let's see what we got here. Jill and Sam saying, welcome back. Thank you very much. Yes, Kevin is in the house. Look, hey, welcome home. Yes, so lovely to see you, Kevin.
So Kevin will be able to tell me, because he knows the hotels we stayed at. Is that particularly good hotels, or is that sort of?
Well, no. When I said to Kevin we were staying here, he's like, "Okay." I think he was. It was a good hotel, but there was better hotels and worse hotels. So Peter's saying, just welcome home to you both. Thank you very much. And Nick said about hosepipe in the garden. Oh dear. Right. Craig's just saying, what does BG stand for?
BG. This is the sort of highbrow intellectual conversations we have. BG stands for bum gun, and it's a device that in a lot of Asian countries, not so much in Japan because they got the fantastic seats, but in a lot of Asian countries like Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, by the side of your city down toilet, you'll have a pipe with basically like a shower head on with a trigger. And when you've done your business, rather than use 17 rolls of toilet roll, you use that to wash your little body.
You do. So, Paul, you were sad to leave your BG, weren't you, when you was going from Asia? So Peter's asking, we are doing South America on Queen Victoria in January, Southampton. Wow. Flying from Australia. Is this service from Heathrow to Southampton? There is ways to get from Heathrow to Southampton, isn't there?
Yeah, there's buses and trains.
So you can do that, and you can obviously private transfers too. So you will be able to find something. It's not too far away, is it?
No.
So just over an hour or so. So Steve said, hi there. Hi, both Steve from Australia. Have you still got your camper? If so, any plans locally? We do still have our camper. We've got a weekend booked actually in April going to Cardiff, haven't we?
Yeah. So not local,
but with our friends that do little campers that we meet up with a couple of times a year, which we arranged last October, wasn't it, to get away? So yes, so we're looking forward to going away in the camper, hopefully over the summer months. Catherine's asking the same question. Welcome on both. Enjoying following your travels. It looked amazing. If you did a similar thing again, would you do the busy part at the beginning and the relaxing part at the end? I think we would have added in a relaxing part at the end because the Riviera tour was full on. But
as was the river cruise.
The river cruise was really busy.
I think that's what you get. It's a totally different animal. The river cruise and a land tour is a totally different animal to
an ocean
cruise and stuff like that. There's no sea days. It's just every day you're on it.
Yeah.
And if you want to get your value for money and
if you want to experience everything they've got to offer, and there was so much, we learned so much, didn't we? Cambodia for me was a huge highlight. Learning all about the times of the Khmer Rouge, and that was horrific. The Cambodian people were absolutely lovely. And it was so cheap. Cambodia is so cheap. If you're looking for a holiday in Asia that's on a budget when you get there, it's the cheapest place we've been for a long time, isn't it, Paulie? I'd like to go back to Cambodia, and I like to do, I think it's called Sukhumvit or something similar to that name, that's sort of south, which is on the coast. I'd also like to go back to Vietnam and do like maybe Phu Quoc, because that was just absolutely lovely. So having that beach time and that chill time was really important after the river cruise. And we've come home straight after the Riviera tour. So now we obviously work from home now, so we've got time to rest and that. So it's not like we have to be straight back into
work. No.
Into work. So Emma Cruz is in the house. Hey,
Hello,
hey,
Emma.
So let's have a look. Let's see what other questions you got. Tracy B is just saying, did I hear Carole say Trans-Pacific, Hawaii, Sydney, then cross to New Zealand? Yes, possibly. That's what we're hoping to do. We're looking for 2026, aren't we, for the next?
I love it. She looks at me and says, "Aren't we?" I have got no idea what she's looking at. That's between her and her other husband, Dan.
Yes, my other husband, Dan. Mark said, yes, we do. We did have an infinity balcony on Edge and loved it. Used the balcony more of these cruises than ever before. Brilliant. Do you know that's the beauty of having all these different types of cabins? Because for some it will suit and some it won't for others, won't it? So that's good to hear. So your trip looked amazing, but the people you ran into seemed absolutely personable. Is this the most personal trip you've both taken with the local people?
It is. I gotta be honest. None of them threw drinks on me.
No,
they were lovely. They were no good at pop quizzes or anything like that.
We didn't do any.
No, we didn't do any quizzes.
We did. We did on the river cruise. That was fun.
And
you won.
Yeah. Well, I say we won.
Yeah.
I won. Yeah.
We were with Tom and Jane.
Yeah. So yeah, we did. We did one. So in the 7 weeks, we did one quiz, and we had 100% record.
Exactly. But yeah, we've
It was so nice, and especially in Japan, if somebody comes up, if you're sort of standing around not loitering or whatever, but you look like you might be a bit confused about something, you'll get somebody come up to you and say, "Oh, you know, do you need some help? Are you lost? You're trying to find something, blah, 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 blah." Well, in Japan, you don't have to say, "Oh, no, you're all right, man. I know what I'm doing," and you just walk off and get lost. In Thailand, you do say, "Yes, I know what I'm doing," and walk off and get lost, because all they're trying to do is get you somewhere you don't want to go. But in Japan, and the only other place I experienced it was Singapore, is they genuinely want to help you. And there's no ulterior motive, which is lovely. So yeah, I've never been to a place where everybody genuinely seems lovely until it's time to get on the tube train.
On the metro.
And then everybody turns into raving lunatics.
But they're polite lunatics.
Polite lunatics.
And I think this with Japan, it's just everything's so organized. Even when it's really busy, people walk in order, don't they? There's always a politeness. The bowing culture.
Even the deers bow to you.
Even the deers, Nara bow to you. Oh dear. So it's Emma Cruz, your ad disclosure was 10 out of 10. Love you for it. Oh, thanks, Emma. Yeah. Well, we like to be transparent and we want to be totally clear. So thank you for that. And hopefully, Tina, we've explained if you put ad, it means obviously that you've been invited on the trip and not paid for it yourself. So and Sam saying thank you for the answer. No problem at all. And Natalie agrees. Oh my God, you're back. We are.
Guess who's back?
Back with the family. So that's always nice. So Kate's here. So obviously Kate. So you must be up very, very early in Australia. Hope you're both welcome for our adventures. We're getting there. To be fair, today I'm just shattered, but Danny's asked a question, but he's not really giving us much clues.
I think Danny's just he's just being a silly boy, I think.
So we can have a bit more on that, Danny. That would be good. Jerry's asking when and where the next cruise. So are we going to say? No. All our patrons and YouTube members know. Well, we're going to let you. We've got 2 cruises coming up in very short succession, haven't we? Well, a week after each other. So we will let you know on our up and coming lives. Lives.
Well, mate, you've probably talked so much, you've wore your mouth out. Oh, funny that was true. Oh, I tell you what, I'd stay in for a week so I wouldn't miss it. So
Kate's saying, "Woo, when you're doing Trans-Pacific, I might jump on the NZ." Yes. Do. It'd be lovely to catch up with you, Kate. That'd be awesome. There is another Tracy Phoenix asking. I don't know. And Tina's saying, "Well, statement read. I'm so glad Paul explained the BG question, not Carole."
Well, funny you should say that, because on the Japanese toilets, I'm going to be as subtle and as possible here. But some of the toilets, you've got two buttons you can press that does the washy bit of
We can have what you can have your front washed or your back.
Wouldn't it be great if you let me finish my story instead of just butting in all the time? Well, I won't bother saying now because but no, you just told him. Oh, Butinsky. So you can do your back bottom and your front bottom. But there'd have been a lovely punchline there. But old serial joke spoiler here had to jump in. Go on, carry on. Oh, when's that maid going to wear out?
Oh dear. Please can you tell us where you went in Vietnam and what was your favourite place in Vietnam? We start on our river cruise. We went to oh gosh, what was the names of the places, Paulie? Because they were very small villages.
I couldn't
before we got to Cambodia.
Yes, I couldn't even hazard a guess of the names of them without doing some research. But they were all very small places.
Mytho and Sabi.
I do recall my toe, THO.
Yes,
yeah, just little tiny places. But then we ended up in
Ho Chi Minh was where we spent the majority of our time,
which was
crazy. And we're glad we've been there, but we wouldn't be rushing back. It's a very, very busy city. We enjoyed our time there, didn't we? We had a great hotel, the Eden Hotel, which had a rooftop pool. But after the madness that's on, if you've ever been to Vietnam and Ho Chi Minh, trying to cross roads, we were quite pros by the end of it, weren't we? So
I just throw Carole out into the road. All the traffic come to a halt and I just walk across. Now and again, I'd pick her back up, but most of the time I just carry on striding, looking for a pub.
No. But but we didn't see a huge amount of Vietnam. We did say afterwards that it would be nice to actually go on to maybe Hanoi or Ho An, just to see a little bit. But we'll definitely be going back to Cambodia, I'm sure, and definitely be going back to Vietnam at some point. Danny's saying I actually have a glass of wine right now, sippy cup, not sem glass. Yes. Oh dear. Ken was saying we had an experience in Newfoundland where a lady picked us up in her car and took us for a tour and wouldn't even let us buy a coffee. Do you know there's some lovely, and that's the beauty of traveling, isn't it? There's so many lovely people in the world. We always hear of all the negative thing. You watch the news and there's some horrible stuff that goes on. But when you travel, you meet the best of people. You can meet the worst of people too. However, you can meet the best of people, can't you? And it's just so heartwarming that things like that happen. And it's good to hear that happened to you too, Ken. Emma saying she loves the Japanese toilets and the pretend noises. I know that did make us laugh.
It's not pretend noises when Carole's on there.
So let's see, what other questions have we got? Because lots of people chatting with each other. So if you've got any questions, then please.
You're gonna have to scroll back up to Kate's. What I remember seeing that you've made a couple of golf comments, and we don't understand them.
I remember seeing the Bravo Golf in Jakarta.
Oh, BG.
Oh.
That's too technical for us, guys.
Oh, that's too highbrow, yeah. No, we get it.
Kate's too posh to say bum gun. That's just shows it a Bravo Golf.
Oh, dear. Let's have a look. Welcome back. Lots of people saying, so here's a question.
That's you, look, Butinsky. Lou knows.
Butinsky.
That's you on that.
I'm sorry. I'm excited about chatting
to
everyone.
Well, saying something, she was all like, hour and a half ago, oh, I'm so sleepy. I can't do the video.
No, I didn't.
Fast forward to 7 o'clock. Me.
Do you want to read this one out?
Nope. How is the bullet train? How does it compare to Eurostar or similar train? Do you feel the speed? Good luck with adjusting to the time zone before you're off again. That's from Travel Solo. We'll chat. We've never done the Eurostar, but I can tell you the bullet train was fabulous. I've also put a little video together about that as well, about how fast we were going, but that'll be out soon as well. Just a little short, only about 30 seconds long. Far superior to any other train I've ever been on. And strangely, you don't feel the speed. You look out of the window, and this is how I know how fast we were going. Like I said, I put a little video together, and I managed to get on my phone a thing that was linked to satellite navigation, so you could look out the window and you could also look at your phone because they had a bit of Wi-Fi, which was
What was it called?
averagey. It was Summits, whatever, it doesn't matter, and it told you how fast we were going, and looking at the window, you would have never believed it. But I'm not going to tell you how fast it's going because you're going to have to watch a little video. But it was fast.
Very, very fast. It was a really comfortable ride. You had so much leg room. There used to be pre-COVID that you could turn the seats around, but now it's all sat out like sort of plane style. So we had 2 seats on one side, 3 seats on the other. You've got unless you're in first class, they don't provide food or drink, but you can take whatever food or drink on with you. You've got a plug to charge your phone. It was just very, very comfortable, wasn't it? It was a really great experience. And when we first got to the train station, and we're just all following up the platform, and when the first bullet train went past, it was like, oh my God, we all jumped, bonkers, wasn't it? Yeah. Because you had some that obviously stopped at certain stations, but some that just whizzed straight through. So, but that was a great experience and a fabulous way to cover a huge amount of ground, because Japan's long. Well, it's sort of like a J shape, isn't it? In effect,
for Japan,
I know. But it's to get from sort of Tokyo right through to Kyoto was well, and we went even further than that, didn't we?
No, it was great.
To Hiroshima.
It's a great way to travel.
Yeah, excellent way to travel. Question: what did you try on a kimono while you're in Japan?
We didn't, because they didn't have any in adult sizes. Every hotel we went to had pajamas, and we would go down for breakfast, bump into some of our crew, as we like to call them. They'd be like, "Oh, did you try the pajamas on?" He's like, "Yeah, I tried them on once, but the trousers wouldn't go over any further than my knees, and I managed to get one button done up." And that was me sort of wedging myself in a doorway to get my stomach in. So, no, we didn't, unfortunately.
We didn't, but a lot of people do, and particularly in Kyoto area. And when we went to Bamboo Forest and around there was lots of people, because you can hire them. Yeah. You can hire them and wear them. We did buy some Japanese socks, didn't we? Which have got the toe, the ones for the... We haven't opened them yet. Because a lot of people wear the kimonos and they'll wear the platform, like flip-flops as we call them, or thongs as they're called in Australia. And they wear, because it's cold, they wear socks. Look.
But they've got that bit.
Yeah.
Because they got these wooden cloggy things, but like I said, they've got the thing that looks like a flip-flop or a thong. I know. Well, you just, butt in and just, don't let me talk about anything. So I'm going to say that, whether you like it or not. What are you going to do about it? So, yeah, so it was quite interesting, because you think, is that just a normal pair of socks that they've just smashed their foot into that flip-flop? But no, it's special socks.
At some of the gardens that we've seen, which were absolutely beautiful, we've seen some people getting married, or after they've got married, and they were having all their photos taken, and they all had those the white versions of those socks.
But you could see the people that were having wedding photos, her kimono was like a proper authentic one, where you've got like a big bunch in, where it almost looks like you got a bit of a backpack on, but it's all to do with the belt and it all bunches up behind you. But the ones you hire are a bit more basic, but they still look lovely.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Yeah, and it was great seeing that there was lots of groups of girls, weren't there, that were having a day out all in kimonos, and for what reason we're not really sure what they were celebrating. No. So no, we didn't try one. So I love meeting different cultural people. What was your favorite part about Japan? So,
well, look, I'm not going to answer that question. What I'm going to come is like, I'm going to do the complete opposite. What wasn't my favorite thing, and we found disappointing, was the food.
Yeah.
The food. After going to Thailand, I think Thai food, outside of good old stodgy British food, is my favorite. And I found, and Carole did as well, found the food very bland. Yeah. We're not into sushi, but we tried all the noodles. We went to, we did fried noodles, we did the noodles in broth, we did this noodle, that noodle, we did lots of Japanese stuff. Our favorite meal we had was a katsu curry, but instead of using chicken in breadcrumbs, it was pork.
Well, they call it
But
the original Japanese curry sauce.
Yeah, and that was fabulous. And I had a Wagyu beef curry noodles, which was fabulous. But in general, we found everything a little bit bland.
We felt the same in Vietnam as well, because you have to, I guess in Japan, you have to add like the wasabi and the different things to it to make it to your taste. Same in Vietnam, you just add. So your basic meal is quite bland. Yeah, we must admit the Japanese food. I love the ramen, different flavors of ramen that you could have, and the udon noodles. But yeah, it wasn't our favorite. Definitely, we kept going back and saying, "Oh my god, I just want a good spicy curry." And even the Japanese original curry is really tasty and lovely. But it wasn't. We love spice.
So how about that for not answering your question?
Yeah,
we couldn't have not answered it any better than that.
But so many favorite. I love that Japanese people. That there's the social etiquette of Japan. Is that they respect each other, they respect their elders, they're very polite, they bow, they open doors, all the things that we as kids were taught up to do to be a good person in society. They do.
They still do it.
They still do it.
And I think
it makes us embarrassed in the UK that there just seems that rules just do not apply anymore. And I loved that about Japan.
The times that we looked at each other and said, "Oh, I wish it was like this in England."
Yeah.
When you see people just being polite and respectful and just like that. And you could immediately tell if you were somewhere and there were some Asian people showing off and making a row, and like we went to see Mount Fuji and there was this family and they had this one kid and he was throwing big rocks into the pool, into the lake while we were trying to take photos. And straight away I looked at Carole and she looked at me and said, "Well, they're definitely not Japanese, are they? Because there's no way."
And you could see the Japanese just looking at it, they're embarrassed.
Yeah.
So they were very quiet, polite, and a great culture. Loved it. Loved that they, and they were just respectful to each other, which we thought was great. So Jackie say, "Hello, welcome. Yes, I'm late. Better late than never." Lovely, always lovely to see you. And Kate saying, "You've got it now." Yes. Bravo, golf. We have. Yeah. Why didn't we get that? So Renato's asking about insurance.
We've got insurance with our bank, which is a 12-month policy. It's worldwide. It covers cruises. It covers pretty much everything, to be fair. Now, but it only covers us for 31 days. So what we have to do is they're happy to cover us, but we have to phone them up and then we have to pay a premium. And I think how much? It wasn't even that much.
It wasn't much. We paid about £50.
Yeah, it was like 50 or 60 quid on top of our normal monthly payment that we make. So yeah, that's how we did that.
Yeah. So just speak to your insurers and they'll be able to guide you on what to do. So how are the showers and baths in Japan?
Well,
small.
That's the weird thing is the hotel rooms. Everybody said before we went to Japan, "Oh, they're like shoeboxes," honestly. But all the hotels we stayed in, apart from the very last one, which was at the airport, which was still okay, were a good size. But every one we stayed in, the shower was over the bath, which I thought was quite weird, really. And the bath was far too short. It wasn't even really big enough for Carole to lie down in. So I had no hope. So it was sort of, why have you got this bath? I could have understood if it was a full-size bath with a shower over. Yeah, you got a full-size bath. But it was a bath that wasn't really any good to use.
Like a three-quarter bath.
And the shower over it. And, when you get to our age, you worry about falling over and breaking your hip, don't you? So, but every other aspect of the toilets, as you could probably tell, we loved.
Yeah. So Kaz is asking, where would you recommend as a must-see port in North-South Europe? My NCL cruise next year has been cancelled. Oh, wow. So many... Great ports.
Carole's gonna have to tell me where North-South Europe is, because my norths and souths.
Well, North Europe would be Bruges or Norway, perhaps tips of Spain. Well, France rather. South, I would be thinking of the Mediterranean, isn't it?
Okay.
So there's so many great ports in Europe. If you're thinking of North, the ones that Bruges is always a beautiful place to visit. Norway, you can't go wrong with
Yeah,
Norway,
it's fabulous.
which is stunning. If you're going South Europe and you're thinking, I think the ports in Italy are always a good when you do that sort of Barcelona to Rome. That itinerary, that's a really nice one, isn't it? Where you're going to like La Spezia, or even if you're going to places like Naples, you've got access to some really fabulous, beautiful places.
And what's Croatia and all that class?
Adriatic.
So that's,
yeah, so that's the sort of East Europe. That's the Adriatic. That's beautiful. Greece.
I never carry a compass with me, so I don't know.
So so there's so many great itineraries out there. It's just obviously picking where you fancy going and what the right price for you. Lou said, I'm exactly the same. Carole, I'm a Butinsky too. Oh.
There's a lot of them about.
So Steve said he's off to Burnham tomorrow with some grandkids in the rain. Would you like to swap with me?
No. Thanks.
Oh dear.
I'm sure Burnham's very nice. It's just grandkids, isn't it?
No, grandkids would be lovely, but it's just the rain, isn't it? It's just miserable. How good was the ramen? The ramen was amazing. If you love ramen, then obviously it's Japanese. I mean, there are lots of other things.
Oh yeah. Was that ramen we had the one night in that yellow place?
In the yellow place.
Down from the Mermaid.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to Butinsky now. So when we got to Tokyo 2 days before the rest of the tour, and Carole walked past one of the areas where you had your breakfast, but it was also in a bar in the evening. And then she came back and said, oh, mate, it seems like it's true what we've heard about Japan being really expensive. I said, what, really? I said, yeah. She said, well, I've just priced up a beer and a wine, and it's going to be about £26. And it's like, oh. She said, well, we'll go out. So we could see from our hotel window that there were some streets that wasn't too far away. So we walked down, and things that immediately put a smile on your face is like we're going back to nobody crosses a road unless the green man's on.
Yeah.
We got to this one quite busy junction, and everybody stood down there all waiting, and nobody would even think. It doesn't matter if there's a car, not a car within 20 miles, nobody's crossing the road. And then all of a sudden the green man came on, and it started playing a tune.
It did.
Oh, and it was fabulous. And we're walking across. I thought, this is just the best day of my life. The green man's on. He's singing me a song. I'm loving it. And then we get into this street, and it's quite full on. You know, this is our first experience. And what is quite odd is everything's on 3 or 4 levels. So you might see a sign for a restaurant. You think, well, that looks all right. It'll have
2F or
2F or 3F or whatever, meaning what floor it's on. And, you know, we like to have like a nose through the window, and is there anybody in there? Because you feel like if you go up like 3 floors and then you get there and there's nobody in there, and it's like, you know, and it's awful.
Yeah.
You feel like you've committed a bit then. So we were sort of looking at ground floor stuff. And I said to Carole, so it wouldn't be great if we found a little pub. That'd be awesome. She said, well, I wouldn't get your hopes up, mate. Anyway, about 50 yards later, the Mermaid.
Yes.
A little pub. And we went in there. Normal price for a beer and a wine was £10, £5 per drink, but it was happy hour, so it was only £7, £3.50 a drink. And they did fish and chips, steak, pie and chips. There's all the stuff that you wouldn't want to have in Japan. But we did say to the ladies in there that they were fabulous, and we had a good laugh with them. Where would you recommend eating? And they told us. And so the next day, Carole said, where do they say? I said, well, I don't know what they called the place, mate. But they did say that the place is bright yellow and we can't miss it. So the next day, we walked down the road, found this yellow-fronted place, and we thought, well, we didn't even know how to get in. And all of a sudden, this door slid open, like a wooden door, and these 2 people stepped out. And then the bloke looked at us, says, 2? Yes, please. But he just shut the door back up. And we're thinking, like, so is that a no? And then anyway, only a minute or 2 passed, and then door slid back home. Okay, come in. And this place, oh my God, it couldn't have been more authentic. There was like 4 guys behind this counter all like diffed up in getting the noodles going on. For some reason, each station they were working at had a tap, and the tap was constantly running.
Yeah.
So I don't know what all that was about. But somebody more intelligent than me, which most people might be able to tell me. Initially, they sat us at the counter, but then a table became available. But a maximum amount of people you would get in this place would be 12, would you say? So enough. And bearing in mind, there was 5 or 6, there was 6 people working in there, but there was 12, enough for 12 people to eat. And we ordered 2 different lots of noodles. And I have to say, it was very, very good. And we had a good laugh. And the staff are brilliant.
The bowls, though,
oh, it's like a ramen. It's like bowls out of a washing up bowl.
It's huge. And we've never been good at using chopsticks, but we had a real good go in Japan, and we were.
Well, we had no choice because they wouldn't give us anything else.
But we were told that Japan's really expensive. We found that actually you could find places to eat and drink at very reasonable rates if you just obviously shop around. The vending machines, that's another thing with Japan. Wherever you go, there's vending machines, and we've seen a lot for drinks, but you can get food, you can get school uniforms. It's very bizarre. So even if you, and for snacks, if you didn't want to go out for a meal and you wanted to eat cheaply in Japan, you've got your 7-Elevens, you've got your Family Marts, and you've also got Lawson's, which is very well known in Japan, which is like a convenience store. And also the other thing that we learned was with cash points, you don't really see banks. Well, we didn't see banks. They may well be in a different area than we were in. So, but if you want to get cash out, the best place to go is to a convenience store, and they'll have cash points literally just in through the door. It's
everything that you wouldn't do in England. You'd never go into a shop if there was one. You know, there's always one of them little cash points in the corner. You'd never go and use one of them. But that's where you do use them in Japan.
Ken's asked, did you try banana cake? We didn't, did we? Did we try?
Do you know the one place we went every morning they had banana cake in the thing, and I don't think I tried it once.
Breakfasts for Paul were very challenging because there are a lot of Japanese foods in the morning and very little Western things, weren't there?
And the sausages were rubbish.
Yeah. So breakfasts were challenging, but that's, you know.
We had 7 weeks of rubbish sausages.
Oh, let's see then. So Art Depot Gallery saying, same as in the US as well. They teach us so much, Japan, kindness, politeness, and respect. Totally. It was just so nice to see that there's still a culture out there that upholds those good behaviors, that's all it is, isn't it? It's good behaviors. And we've lost our way in the UK big time, which is really sad. Kate's just saying, do we utilize the various vending machines? We got some drinks out there. You could buy hot coffee in cans, and that's really weird. So, and particularly when it was really cold, it was nice to have. And we had 2 days that were really torrential rain, and we were just frozen. And it was just go to a vending machine, or you can actually buy them in the convenience store. You'll go to a fridge area, and you think, oh, it's just cold, but you'll see things will be labeled blue for cold and red for hot, and you just touch the can and it's just hot.
And it's the same in the vending machines. If there's a vending machine that sells hot stuff, that'll all be in red, and then all the cold stuff is in blue. So
it's always handy to carry some change with you when you are in Japan. And like I say, we were told it's very much a cash culture, but we found that the card works very well.
You can use your card on the vending machine.
You can use on some, on some. What bank are you with, please? We're with Barclays. Barclays Bank.
And it's called a Travel Pack Plus.
I don't think they do them anymore.
Well, I think
the version that we got.
The version we got, because we got in quite early. And I think if we ever said, oh no, we're gonna knock
We've had that years and years now, and it also includes airport lounges and RAC cover, doesn't it?
6 airport lounges a year, RAC cover, and worldwide travel insurance.
Ken saying, having worked for a Japanese company for 10 years, I would agree about the culture. Yeah, it's fabulous. Answer, did you not go to the onsen? No, we didn't. For those that don't know, the onsen is the natural spring spas where you go naked. And we were at one hotel. After we'd seen Mount Fuji, went to Hakone, which was a beautiful place on a lake, which we got on.
Don't tell them.
Okay.
Right, you've got 10 seconds just in your head. How did we get to this hotel where the onsen was? What was the place called? Hakone.
Yes.
So you've had time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got there on a pirate ship.
We did. These vlogs are going to be so interesting, hopefully. But the onsen, the reason we didn't do it was not because of the nakedness. Paul couldn't do it because he's got a tattoo.
That was the reason we didn't do it, was
No.
it?
One of the reasons you didn't do it was because your tattoo. One of the reasons I didn't do it because we got back to the hotel about 6ish, and then dinner was at 7:30, and there just wasn't enough time for me to sort my hair and everything out.
Well, you could have made time.
Well, I could have made time. But there's also with a lot of the onsens, they're getting more. Some of them are now relaxing their rules about letting people in the tattoos. But anyone with a tattoo in Japan, it seems to be linked to the Japanese mafia called the Yakuza. So they don't allow people like that because they think if you've got a tattoo,
Well, bearing in mind the Yakuza usually have their whole bodies tattooed, and they usually have their little fingers cut off, and this is my tattoo, so I don't think
I know.
I don't think I had much to worry about, but that was one of the things they said. I thought, well, I'm not going to
Kate saying you got a compass in your phone, see, Paulie. And Lou's going to Bruges in October. Yeah, Bruges is lovely, a beautiful place, particularly if you get the weather. It's really good. Nick's asking any news on the 2026 group cruise. We're doing a Patreon YouTube members cruise. So Dan's working behind the scenes now with a particular company to put that together. So as soon as we know, Nick, we will let you know. So that'd be cool.
I'm sure we might have a chat about it Saturday night. Yes,
we will. Steve's asking, is the Pike and Musket still open these days? It is, Steve. It's in Tuffley, isn't it?
The one by the dentist.
Yeah, our dentist is by there. Yeah. Mark said that they found New Zealanders and Aussies extremely helpful and so friendly. Yeah,
I know a few, especially Australians. There's a few dodgy ones.
We had a great time in Australia. You're right, there they are. The Aussies are so much fun, really good fun.
It's just a shame they don't like a beer.
Kate saying we Aussies are typically a friendly bunch. You are. Joanne says, thank you for answering. Love Noodles wants to try authentic Japanese ramen. Yeah, do. It's absolutely fabulous. So let's just see if we've got any more questions. Aware we've gone well over the hour. So let's have a look. Hopefully we've answered that. Did you ever use Japan Rail? We used one. Excuse me. When we got off the bullet train in Tokyo Airport, to get from Tokyo to Haneda Airport, we used the Japan Rail, and it was packed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it was just so many people. Bullet train, no, the bullet train's very, very civilized, but the other train
because you have to have a seat on the bullet train, but on the Japanese rail, you've heard the expression one in, one out. Well, on the Japanese rail, it's 74 in, one out, and then the next stop is 100 in, 2 out.
Yeah.
So if you want to get off the train, you need to be very strategically placed because you'd never get off.
Yeah. Chelsea, did we partake in karaoke? We didn't. We've seen lots of karaoke places, but we didn't go in, did we?
The karaoke places we saw were all like private rooms.
Yeah.
And we tried to get a few people interested, but if it had been in like a bar where you're just in there and having a beer,
yeah.
But the private room thing doesn't excite me, to be honest, unless it was a massive private room with like 50 or 60 people in. But we did see it, yes. Michelle
saying she didn't know the tattoo rule over there. Yeah. But they were saying in some places with the onsen now they are allowing people in with tattoos, as I said. Emma's cruise is saying so many times since I've been back from July, I thought I wish there was a Japanese vending machine. They are. It's just so easy, isn't it, to get something.
And let me tell you what Emma would want in that vending machine. She would want cookies
and Pepsi
Max.
We had a great
yes. Emma, when you went to Japan, we had a can of Pepsi. It was like a Coke Zero. It was Pepsi Zero. Was it called Pepsi Zero?
Yes.
But it wasn't Pepsi Max.
Yeah.
And in our humble opinion, it was better than Pepsi
Max. Yeah, it was.
Max.
It was lovely.
So I don't know whether you've come across that, but that's neither in nor there. But
so Michelle's just asking, me and my grown-up children off on P&O Iona to Norway in June, thanks to the community vlogs. Any newbie cruisers' advice? Just go with a very open mind, Michelle, and just embrace what's on offer. Try things that you wouldn't normally try, because it really is that's how we discovered things, isn't it, when we first started cruising. What do you think?
I think if you're going on Iona, you need to go to the Keys because the food there's fabulous. They got a little Asian fusion place there. They got a chip shop. They got a burger place. It's all included in your fare unless they've changed that. What I will say about Iona, lots and lots of we did a thing about it and we said the service was bland. Whether or not that's changed, I don't know. But one thing we couldn't fault was the entertainment and the food.
Yeah.
But service, a bit bland. Let's hopefully they've picked that up a bit. But yeah, I think I'd go back on there in a heartbeat, to be honest.
Check your daily program and see what's going on around the ship, and make sure you have a plan for your day, because there's so much going on that if you don't not like a strict plan, but a loose plan, say there's 3 or 4 things today that you definitely want to see.
But you've got to book stuff as well. Remember that you've got to book stuff on your app. And also, when we were on last, the app was very, very poor. So you try and book something. So say you wanted to go to, say, like the Keelan Care or what it's called, somewhere like that. It'd be, there's 75 people in the queue. And then you walk past the Keelan Care, there'd only be 2 people sat in there because the app was rubbish. So if the app tells you something, don't take it as gospel. Always just pop up to if you're trying to get into a restaurant or into one of the little clubs there, and just pop up and say, well, look, blah, 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 blah. And they might say, oh, yeah, no, mate, there is actually 75 people waiting. But in our experience, there never was. So don't let the app put you off.
Exactly.
So always take it with a little pinch of salt.
Just been asked, did you take a bus? We didn't take a bus, but they looked very easy to navigate, didn't they? Yeah. But we did take taxis a couple of times, and they were easy to use and sort of UK prices, weren't they? They weren't too bad. And Emma's just saying, as long as it wasn't the Japanese Coke Plus, which has laxative in it. Yes, we didn't say any of that. So that's interesting, isn't it? I think on that note, we've been going for like an hour and a quarter.
So as Emma just mentions laxatives.
On that note, we just got to go. So thanks everyone for joining us. It's so nice to be back for our Thursday night chats, isn't it, Paulie? What are you looking at?
I'm looking at what Renato saying. Buena.
Excellent live chat. Many thanks. Bueno Pasqua.
Oh. Well, hopefully, Renato, you're welcome.
So thanks everyone for joining us. It's been fun as always.
Yes, it's great to be back.
It is good to be back. We will be here same time, same place next Thursday to chat about some more.
I'll be sat here. She'll be sat there.
Yes.
We'll have different shirts on.
Yes. So thanks so much. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.